Forget that it doesn't go away. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening?
I just thought it froze. I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, well, it wouldn't
Oh,
be an
man.
episode if there wasn't at least one little thing, right?
Yep, that is so
Uh,
true.
so, good morning and welcome to the Dark Roast, everyone. I'm Donna Stroll, and I'm here with the beautiful and talented Dark Rose here.
And
Um,
no longer congested.
yes, I was gonna say I'm feeling much better. I can see the sparkle in your face, so that's
Yes.
a good thing. So today's episode, we are talking about minimalist marketing.
Yes.
Basically keeping it simple and making it profitable because not everybody has time or patience. I know that. Patience is a virtue, and it's a hard fought one. So,
Yeah.
it, we don't need the complicated strategies. You can always build those in as you go along, but it doesn't have to start there. And you don't have to necessarily do it if you don't want to. So,
Yep. Exactly. Less is more. We are finally kind of opening up our eyes to the hustle culture and how toxic it really can be. And, really making sure that we're taking time for ourselves as well as building businesses. So, you can get that simple marketing. You can remove all the bells and whistles and still get the necessary elements out, and zero in on what's really going to work and what your core message is. People
yeah.
are overwhelmed, right, with everything right now, with politics, with the world, with just everything going on. And so keeping your marketing minimalist can help you actually stand out because you're not assaulting them with flips on the frame every 3.5 seconds, or like words flying at them, or all the other kind of crazy stuff. And it just gives more clarity and less stress for you and your customer. um, by simplifying, you reduce your time spent in it and making everything, reduces the overwhelming, like, oh god, I've got so many shorts and whatnot to edit, and often just leads to faster decision making because, again, there's not a lot of fluff for your customers or your ideal clients to go through. It's just, this is what I offer. If this is for you, let's talk.
Yeah. And I mean, like you say, the world is pretty overwhelming. I mean, you're assaulted from every form of media that there is. You can't even drive down a highway without getting, bombarded with billboards and advertising. So, and they're not just static anymore. They're digital as well. So they're constantly
Mhm.
flipping and turning and stuff like that. And so and also a lot of people who go into online marketing, especially people who are new, have jobs. They're working already, so they don't have the time, to dick around with all the bells and whistles. It's just not necessary, right? And
Yeah.
so, it allows them to be a bit more of who they are. And the next thing that you want to simplify your offer, right? You're focusing on one core thing instead of having to, have go into all the different pieces. You might have a much larger offer, but if you simplify your message down to the very core, one big problem, one big solution, whatever, that can help stop overloading yourself, but also your audience, your clients, the people that you want to reach out to, because you're just making the decision easier for them. They don't have to go, oh, well, they do all these things, or they have all this stuff, or they're, all these pain points. And it's like, now I don't want to do anything because, yeah, you just told me my life sucks and I'm going back under my blanket. you know, let's create something that's simple, a signature service or product or whatever. And then that will stand out because it's a one thing, right?
Mhm.
And like I say, you can always build from it, or you can create a completely separate one, even though they're attached. So you can, build out different core messages, but all leading to the same thing if your single product actually works for it. And it also allows you to really focus your brand as well when you have a
Yeah.
single core offer.
Well, it helps you nail down your message, right? So one of the things that I struggled with when we first developed the concept of ice wellness was people would be like, well, what do you do? And I had to really break it down from a like, okay, think of somebody who's never done cold therapy and then build it up that way. Because in my mind, like everyone already knows what cold therapy is, and I was like, oh, we help you achieve whole wellness with cold therapy, and they were like, well, what does that mean? Like, oh yeah, okay, let's break it down further. So keeping it simple helps you nail it down, and you should be able to be like when someone asks you what do you offer, what do you do. It should be a very concise 2 to 3 sentence message, right? And keeping it minimal will help really dial in that message and make it easy. Gives you consistency across your brand as well. So, repetition obviously builds recognition. I do this a lot with the Ice Wellness videos where it's like the same script with just different imagery or different video pieces because, like, it's not rocket science what we do. It's very, very simple. We help people get in the bath, get clarity, and experience mental and emotional growth as well as physical. Like, it's that simple. And so just repeating that message over and over again with different background is really what works for us. And then short, relatable stories can help people connect emotionally without overwhelming.
Yeah. And I mean, your stories, I think people, when they think about a story, because I know I did, was like it has to be this super deep, meaningful, like life changing turning point moment. But stories happen throughout your day all the time, right?
Mhm.
Um, Taking that cast iron pan that I had that, got gifted 2 or found 2 cast iron pans, old ones from my love's, grandmother, and they were, like, cruddy and whatnot, and one it seemed a little weak and one seemed good, but I started the restoration process on both of them. The smaller one didn't make it, it was broken like I thought. That happens, but the other one I took and stripped down and rebuilt and did all this stuff, and underneath it was this beautiful antique or almost antique cast iron pan that now I have. And so that whole process of stripping something down to its bare essentials and then rebuilding it from there, boom, I can use that as, the same as your business, stripping down all
Mhm.
the crap, all the layers, all the things that hide what it actually is. I didn't even know what type of pan it was when I first got it because I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the logo. Now I can see what it is, and it's simple and it's easy and it's beautiful to use. There you go, right?
Mhm.
No life changing, it was very simple, very quick, very easy. And
Every story
elevator
doesn't have
pitches,
to be a saga.
yeah, the elevator pitch is a really important thing to be able to do. And we used to do that all the time with authors.
Yeah.
Like if when they're trying to, what's your book about? If you can't tell me in like a couple paragraphs, and even if it's like a simple couple, like a simple paragraph, the point is to pull people in, right? So you're going to tell them the main part of what you do, and then they're going to ask you questions, and then you can carry on with that, but it should have enough information to make them curious and also give them a good concept of what it is you do.
Yeah.
So, and then optimize your platforms. See, and this is where overwhelm can really step in because we get online and there are so many options. So many options. And while you have one that you're comfortable with, maybe it's not the right one for whatever it is that you're trying to do, or you think you need to be on all of them because you see, how to blow up on Instagram, how to blow up on TikTok. Oh, Threads is the new thing. How to conquer X, it's still it's still important, and Facebook and blogging and this and that, and then all of a sudden you're like, nope, I'm not doing any of it. I've overwhelmed myself, and you can always expand when you have a team, and then you don't have to worry about it. But start simple. Pick 1 or 2 platforms that matter most to your audience. So that's going to require you to do some market research. Again, always go back to the research, see where they hang out, and then focus your energy on that 1 or 2 places. And then you can use templates as well, to batch your posts, your emails, your your videos, all those kinds of things. There's different ways to do it. There's lots of templates out there. You can find them on Etsy for the different programs. You can make them in Canva fairly easily. And if you like actually upgrade for Canva, which I think I'm not sure what it is, if it's $12.99 or $14.99 now a month,
I'm
but
not sure.
you can do batch videos. You can create batch videos or batch content, and then you can just go in and edit backgrounds as you need. So it can be pretty quick to do it. And then focus on your content types that convert. So if short form video doesn't really do much for you, but your posts and images or your blogs or whatever, your emails really do, then put your energy there. Don't waste your energy on things that aren't converting for you, because why bother, right? Again, these are all things that once you get your business rolling solid, you can hire other people to do that for you.
Oh yeah. And there's softwares too, like Repurpose, and there's a couple others I've seen recently advertised for that can help you like automate, you know, like reposting shorts
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So, and then email marketing. This does not have to be complicated, right? So, there was a lot of confusion when I first started of like, do I need to build a list? Do I not need to build a list? This is kind of pointless. Like, why am I doing this? Oh, maybe I should have. There's a lot, right? So you should absolutely build a list, because even if you're not comfortable sending out emails right now, you might eventually, or you should eventually, have a complete offer built out and be able to make it pretty second nature. So each email should be very specific on what it is, either a call to action email or a story email or a brand recognition email, anything like that, right? Not every email has to be salesy, but it should have something to do with whatever they've signed up on your email list for.
Yeah.
So if your theme is helping them be comfortable on the camera, probably don't send them a link for a faceless YouTube channel. um, you can
What?
also do it right. You can also do it as like a weekly newsletter. So maybe you're not comfortable yet with full on emails. Make a newsletter or even a monthly newsletter. I would say weekly starting out will help keep you top of mind. But if monthly is all you can really put in, do monthly. Quick tips, insights, stuff like that. Everybody loves those kind of things, right? And then automating sequences is fantastic. Pretty much any autoresponder will do it. There's some free ones out there. I know System.io gives you, I think, up to 3 workflows for free or 3 funnels for free. I don't remember
It gives you 3
exactly.
funnels for free, but I think the workflow is the automations is just one.
Just the one. Okay. And then Get Response is another one that has a free option. And their automation is pretty cool. And it just helps, especially as you're starting out, right? You can start writing those emails, and maybe you're not comfortable really lead genning for the first 2 or 3 months. But if you spent 2 or 3 months writing out emails about your journey, then you already got that automation sequence set up. And so you're already ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we always get the email seems like an overwhelming thing because we don't know how that's going to go. Like, at least with social media, it's out there, it's instant, it comes back. But with emails, you realize you actually have to have a sequence. And, it has to, you can't just have like a 5 and then it's done, unless you are doing like a launch or something like that where it's going to be a shorter run of emails. But that's why I like a newsletter. And I know some people email every day, but those are usually the bigger guys, or like the whole like there's websites that are like a wellness website where they'll do something every day, but they have a much more vast system set up. It's not just some marketer, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
and it's usually like 5 or 6 people writing emails. So, it's they're not banking on one person's creativity.
yeah, and if it's just you and you're trying to reach your ideal people, you might not want to be pushing, 5 emails or 6 emails a week. You might want to slow that down a little bit, for your own sanity and also for the people who you want opening them.
Hmm.
right? So, and then your content, obviously, you're going to focus on short form, high value. So reels, checklists, that kind of thing, infographics, so that you can give your customers or your clients or your potential audience something really quick and easy for them to digest. Like an infographic is a great way to, give them something that they can just sort of follow through, give them a reason to download it, save it, you know, have that for themselves. You create a lead magnet, whatever that is to help grow your list, right? Um, Whether it's a free session or it's access to a specific training or it's, you know, uh, again, something more digital like an ebook or a checklist or a journal or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then, like you were mentioning before, repurposing content across platforms. So if you've decided Facebook is your platform, you can easily repurpose that over to Instagram and even Threads. So that's three platforms, and you only actually are focusing on one. So that's really helpful for you, depending on where you want to go. Like you can do a blog or YouTube, and you can repurpose it into a blog or vice versa. Those kinds of things. It just saves you time, saves you overwhelm. Um, you don't have to do separate things for everything because the people on each of those platforms are not necessarily cross pollinating.
Yeah.
Some are, and so what? Maybe they didn't see it on your Facebook, but they did see it on your Insta. So don't
Yeah.
stress about that because that was something I stressed a lot about. Is like, oh, they've already seen this. Everybody's seen this. I have to do different. No, no, you don't. No.
Yeah.
Even if they did see it, so what? They're just one of how many other people you want to actually reach. So,
Yep.
and then your favorite.
My favorite, analyze. All of this means nothing if you're not tracking what is working and ditching what is not. So, so often we hear consistency is key, consistency is key. Well, if you're consistently doing what's not working, you're consistently not going to see results. That's just the fact of life. So, it's kind of like a workout, right? If you're trying to build your leg muscles, you're not going to do bicep curls all the time. Like, it just doesn't work for building your leg muscles. You have awesome arms. So, Google Analytics, Facebook's Meta Tracker, like third party analytics sites, even all of these are really, really good. I know Facebook Reels is kind of difficult to like find your views, but you can find them and then you can build from there. Like my Facebook Reels don't get a lot of traction. My Instagram ones do really well.
Yeah. So,
So,
I mean, and that will show you again, like where your audience is, right?
yep.
So
And
if
where you
you,
can double down to make it scalable and where you can kind of be like, okay, well, these longer form videos take me twice as long to make and I'm getting a quarter of the people watching. Maybe I stop wasting my time on those and just stick with the short ones.
yep. And it, like you say, most of your platforms will have some form of analytics. So it's not like you have to go crazy. You should pay attention to them though. I mean, it's easy to just look at, oh, who's looking at it, right? But remember that your vanity metrics are just that.
Yeah.
What does that turn into for you? And do you actually have something set up for it to turn into? Like, are you putting call to actions? Are you making, links available? Are you asking people to reach out to you? Like, these are things that you're going to want to be able to also, make sure you're adding in. Um,
Yeah. Well, and
it's
especially with Instagram, you can add mini chat and automate, if they comment something, then they automatically get sent whatever it is or the conversation automatically starts. Like there's a lot of ways to, even if you're just starting out, automate that as well to make it easier. So,
Yeah, because the it's the thing about trying to simplify and make it more minimalist so that is one, gaining back your more time, right? You want your time back. And you also want to make it less overwhelming for both you and your potential audience. So those are two key things that you're wanting to do. I will say, um, no matter like how you simplify, especially if you're going to minimize some of your how often you're doing things, just be aware that it will take a little longer.
Yeah.
Be understand that it doesn't mean that it's not moving. It just might not move as fast, simply because you're building up that trust at a pace that is more comfortable for people. But it also means, I mean, what are we when we're comfortable? We're generally not running, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to be patient about that.
Yeah, we all tried the solo ads and the YouTube ads and the Facebook ads, and we started out, and as much as solo ad people like to tout how great their lists are, they're typically not. And it's typically just gonna be dead leads. So really taking the time to build organically is really gonna
Yep.
help in the long run.
Yeah, and I mean, we've also been, the people who are told that we have to, make a bazillion friends or hit people up in the DMs constantly and stuff like that. And that I'm not saying that doesn't work, because it absolutely 100% does work. But if you're just in the beginnings and you're not comfortable with that, if that's not something that you find is a skill set, build that slowly. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean don't ever go into the DMs, right? Because if you want people to reach out to you, they're going to want to talk to you privately. They're not going to want to talk to you publicly. So make it more comfortable for them to reach out to you privately, but make sure that you're doing your work as well and contacting them back and being engaging, and have learned how to turn a casual conversation into, into something that's going to lead somewhere that you actually want for your business, which is sales and growth, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have to be in there, all day, every day. And I
Yeah.
think that, just again, recognize that by not being in there all day, every day, and hitting up doing the cold leads and doing the cold DMs, that you're probably going to take longer.
Hmm.
So if you're comfortable with that, then that's probably the path for you. And that doesn't
And
mean that you're failing if you're not moving as fast as everybody else. I think that that's another
yeah.
thing. We see people spurts and growth, and oh yeah, they killed it. And then 3 months later, 6 months later, they're done because they're burnt out. Yeah, they killed it. And then they got so exhausted because they were burning the candle at all ends and in the middle and trying to make room for their work and their family on top of that. And then they're just done. They don't want anything else to do with it. So,
Yeah. And think of it in the long term for your business too. Like if you're not looking to be living on Facebook and living in the DMs or paying other people to, virtually assist for you and be you in the DMs or anything like that, then don't start building your business around that.
mhm.
Like figure out what you really want your business to look like and go from there.
Yeah.
Because that's where
And
I always got in arguments with other marketers. I'm like, I'm not trying to live on Facebook. I'm not going to go scalp people from other people's groups. Like, I'm not doing this.
yeah. And I just know myself, I would just never, I don't like it when people do it to me. So
Yeah.
I'm very much of the golden rule kind of concept, right? I
Oh, yeah.
want to help people, and and I believe in the things that I have promoted in the past and present. I 100% believe in them. I think that they're fantastic. I think the knowledge is amazing, but I'm not willing to just start slamming people in the DMs. It's just not my nature, and it's just not something that I can do. So I know that that means that for me, everything was like a much smaller step, which
Yeah.
is frustrating for a lot of people. But, for me, I'm like, meh, it is what it is, because I can't pretend to be something I'm not, because then I'll just
Yeah.
get mad.
Yeah. Well,
So,
again, if you spend 2 years building your business around those kind of things, then again, like you have to either hire someone to continue to do that for you, or you have to completely rethink your strategy. And I'm fairly hands off. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll have private conversations and whatnot, of course, but like most of my offers, I don't really need to be that involved with. So like, why would I build my business around being super hands on if I don't need to be.
And I think that's really important to know too. And I mean, those are all things like when you are initially taking stock of your business and how you want it to grow, and how you want to put that effort in, and what it is you even are doing, like picking your niche and all those kinds of things. These are things that need to be factored in, because
Yeah.
there are going to be some things that if you decide that you really want to do something where that contact level needs to be there. It's without just choice, you have to have that. Whereas, and if that's not your thing, you probably shouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
So
And there are ways to do it with being fairly hands off, the customer service side of it, or just even in general, like, you know, the DM side of it. There's ways to build out a business like that.
oh yeah, there's plenty of them. I mean, even if you are going into the education, there's plenty of um, like courses and stuff like that that you can offer as a do-it-yourself,
Hmm.
courses where they can go through it, where maybe, and then you follow up with emails. But again, there's not a lot of, hand holding all the way along.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be sold at a much lower price,
Yeah.
right? Because they're doing it themselves. But so what? So you build that out and you sell more of them, right? As long
Yeah.
as it's a good course, it will sell. So, you know, but so I think that is it for today, my friends. So yeah, as always, less is more. Be willing to take your time. Um, don't be in a rush for everything, you know. Keep it simple, and that will help keep it profitable, and that'll be better for you and your audience. And you can always build it out from there, wherever you're at. So
Yep. Yeah, it's easier to build out complicated systems when you have the capital to hire or pay for automation or whatever it is. So
yeah,
focus on focus on being profitable before you focus on being, the next Jonathan Montoya.
exactly. Very, very true. Because I mean, he started with one thing, right?
Hmm.
You get your focus, and then you build. Focus on that one thing. So.
Yeah.
All right. So next week we decided we were going to talk about affiliate marketing through comparison articles.
Yes.
Okay. So those are actually really popular, especially in blog format, but
Yeah.
they're around in all different kinds of formats, and they're a great way to highlight your product and get it out there. So.
Yep.
All right. So if you guys found this helpful, as always, please drop a comment, share it, hit that subscribe button so that we can build out our channel.
Yes,
And
please.
again, your feedback is always super helpful. And if there's anything that we haven't talked about, but you would like us to, drop that in the comments as well, and we will make sure to get to that. All right. I think that's it. Happy Friday,
Yes.
everyone. Have a great
Enjoy.
weekend.